So it was the second to last day of school this past year, and there was a third grade classroom in the library, and they were there to check out books for the summer. And this one kid in particular, he'd been waiting such a long time for this book to come in that he was dying to read. It was called Stick Man's Really Bad Day by Steve Malkus. Have you seen this book? It's a funny story told all in construction and street signs. So he decided to check the hold basket one last time, and sure enough, there was the book with his name on it. He was so excited. He grabbed that book and went to go check it out. His teacher stopped him and said, "Oh, that book doesn't have words? Well, that's not really reading. Why don't you go check something else out to read?" Should have seen the look on his face. He was devastated. In one fell swoop, that teacher made him doubt himself as a reader and completely crushed the enthusiasm he had for that book. And that broke my heart. We all know that learning to read is one of the most important things that our children can do to be successful in school and in life. However, I'm not here to talk to you about how we teach our children to read. I'm here to talk to you about how we teach our children to love to read, to become readers with a capital R. So what does that mean to be a reader with a capital R? Well, readers are lifelong learners. Readers make educated decisions, and readers develop empathy. In fact, in a 2007 report called To Read or Not to Read, the National Endowment for the Arts states that regular reading not only boosts the likelihood of an individual's academic and economic success, but it also awakens a person's inner social and civic sense. So I think we can all agree, we want our students to be readers. But when it comes to encouraging and nurturing our students' love of reading, our best intentions, the things that we say and do, they're actually destroying readers, not building them. And for someone who works very hard every second of every day to try to get children to love to read, this is a problem. I am deeply concerned about the restrictions, the limitations, the criticisms, and the judgments that we put on our students' independent reading choices. I overhear ridiculous things being said to my students in the library all the time, and to this day, they still raise my hackles. Things like, "You can't read that, that's too hard. You can't read that, that's too easy. No, that's too long. Oh, that doesn't have enough pages. Oh, that's silly." And my all-time favorite, "Didn't you already read that?" I truly believe that we think we are helping students make good choices so that they have successful reading experiences. But what our students are hearing, the messages that they're getting, is that their opinions and their interests don't count, and that reading requires an adult approval. And that in itself is enough to discourage most readers. And as if this is not bad enough, we try to fix this problem, this lack of motivation, with reading incentive programs. They should be called reading destructive programs. Okay, one of the fastest ways to turn a student into a non-reader is to make every reading an assignment and award prizes. In the same way that putting restrictions and criticisms on a student's reading choice kills that joy of reading, so does trying to control a student's reading habits. Reading incentive programs don't create passionate readers with lifelong habits. They create competitors and a superficial sense of value. Imagine for a moment if we had to live in the same reading world and follow the same rules that our students do. What if you could only read books at your exact reading level? I wonder if anybody would get to read Shakespeare. What if that book your friends were buzzing about, you couldn't read it because it didn't pass the 5-finger test? Or what if the book you absolutely adored, you wanted to read it again, you weren't allowed to because, well, you've already read it once? Or what if you had to keep track of all the minutes that you spent reading and you had to take a quiz after every single book you finished? I suspect you wouldn't be a reader either. According to Donna Lynn Miller, who's a reading teacher in Texas, also known as the Book Whisperer, and author of the book Reading in the Wild, she says that a reader demonstrates 5 habits. And if you know an avid reader in your life, or you are one yourself, perhaps you'll recognize these habits. A reader dedicates time for reading. A reader self-selects books. A reader makes plans for future reading. A reader exhibits reading preferences. And a reader shares their love for books and reading with other readers. A habit doesn't become a habit unless it's practiced often and consistently, and I'm guessing that our schools and our classrooms are not allowing the time and the space to grow lifelong readers. I want our students to love to read. I want our students to love to read because it allows them to connect to different worlds and to have different understandings of different perspectives. Because it allows them to find the answers to their most burning questions and discover new knowledge. Because it gives them experiences that they won't get in their own lives, and it helps to build a moral compass. Because they find pain and sorrow and love and joy and death and kindness and wonder in the words they read. I want to leave you with one story about my own children, ages 9 and 6. At the beginning of the summer, we were in the public library and checking out some books, and the librarian said to my kids, "Hey kids, you want to sign up for the summer reading program?" The summer reading program is a free program where you get a log and you keep track of all the books that you read over the summer, and you pass them in and get prizes all summer long, lots and lots of prizes. Both my children very politely said no thank you. As a mommy librarian, that was a very proud moment. My children were turning into readers. As I took a moment to enjoy that feeling, in the back of my mind I started to wonder, just how long was it going to take for us to ruin that for them? Thank you.